Yo, yo, yo! Welcome back to another episode of Shot Boys Podcast. On today's episode, we got to talk about it. How serious is the front office when it comes to making a move at the trade deadline? And who is potentially on the trading block if they are to go out here and make a move? But y'all already know. Y'all got to hear this music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Boys Podcast with me and my co-host, C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, ensure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, the first thing I want to get into is really how serious is the front office when it comes to making a move for the Chicago Bulls. Now, we know once they hit Paris and AK was placed in front of the cameras, I know other people have been calling for AK to make a statement on the state of the Chicago Bulls, but at the same time, because we haven't heard much from them. We ain't heard nothing from them during bad stretches of games, during good stretches of games, during some times where the team was very inconsistent, having low performances, and that were very troubling, and to where myself as a computer GM or a YouTube GM, I was ready to trade the whole team, if I'm being quite frank. But I know that was just me overreacted to what the hell was going on and what was the current state of the Chicago Bulls. But at the same time, during those moments, we were calling for AK or Mark Eversley to speak on the current state of the team. Now, we know that these guys don't always come through in multiple times during the season, but at the same time, something had to be said, something had to come out from the front office, and they finally did so in their time in Paris. In Paris, AK pretty much said that they're still there now. AK pretty much said that he feels the emotion of the fans. He hates when the Chicago Bulls are losing, and he's a competitor. And I'm paraphrasing, by the way. He's a competitor, and that change will come. My thing is how serious are those guys in the front office? Because if last year, Lonzo Ball got hurt around mid-January. The Bulls didn't do much after that. They waited. They didn't make any trades. They waited till Tristan Thompson was bought out. They brought him in, and it was a disaster. It was a bad signing. I thought it was going to be good for the team, but it was bad. You had young players like Ayo Dosunmu, like, fuck you, who are you? While Tristan Thompson was out there trying to yell in game one. He was trying to yell at players in game one. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, no. No. Yeah, that was just bad. And then fast forward on to the offseason, nothing really happened. They brought back a lot of players. I mean, they signed 2 players and brought back just about everybody else on short-term deals. You know what I'm saying? You got Goran Dragic, who is an aging point guard. And then you got, Andre Drummond, who is more of an old school, traditional big, who is supposed to be in there for rebounding, but on most nights, he's not even out there in the game because my man's, when he is in the game, he ain't doing nothing but fouling. So at this point, you got to deal with what you got to, just deal with what's obviously there. But at the same time, we still got to question the front office on how serious are you guys on improving the Chicago Bulls team? Because at the end of the day, the team is just not good enough. You know what I'm saying? The projection was from you, AK, and Mark Eversley. The projection was a second-round playoff appearance. I don't even know if we getting out of the first round because the Bulls have played themselves into a bad position. They still have some season left, but time is running low. And that's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? There were offers for P. Will, allegedly, and rumor. There were offers for P. Will, but you guys refused to move off of P. Will for personal reasons. And rightfully so. You know what I mean? You could have, there was some rumblings about Jeremy Grant. We seen what the start was over there in Portland and how it's eventually going. It's not so good because the Portland Trail Blazers are they're falling. They started off great, but now they're falling. So was it that much of a difference? And AK and Mark Eversley could have possibly been proven right to not have made that move because the points are there, but it still would have been different with a Jeremy Grant next to a DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and a Nikola Vucevic. We don't know if he would have had upwards of 18 points a game like over there in Portland. So, hey, it is what it is. Like, I want to believe the lip service, though, but at the end of the day, I can't. You know what I'm saying? I don't like this team when it comes to players, coaches, and front office. All they have done all season long is feed us sweet nothings. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good, but then you get in the game and it's a totally different game plan, a definitely different outcome, a totally different team that we're seeing versus what the team that we're getting when the cameras are rolling and the microphones are in their face. So how serious are they? To be honest, I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? I believe that we have a good front office. I believe that the front office wasn't like I thought that the continuity thing was okay. But then at the end of the day, at this point, at this moment in time in January of 2023, I don't believe the team is good enough. So there has to be some moves that come out of this. But the question is, what kind of moves? The question is, what kind of moves? Because it's players there. You know what I'm saying? You got an Alex Caruso. You know what I'm saying? So you got Alex Caruso, Javonte Green, DJJ, Andre Drummond, Goran Dragic. Hell, Vooch expiring contract and he's an agent center. DeMar DeRozan, he got 1 year left on his contract, and there's been rumors that he's expecting a max contract to finish out his career. It's a lot of decisions to be made, but at what expense? What's the value of these players? You know what I mean? Because if we further dive into it on who's on the trading block, you could say just about everybody unless you decide to be like, hey, everybody's on the trade block except Zach LaVine. We just paid him. You guys haven't gave up Patrick Williams for anything in trade talk, so maybe he's not on the block. Ayo Dosunmu, what's the question between there? You know what I'm saying? The young guy still got a lot of potential. Maybe he has a higher ceiling than what has previously been shown, but we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying? Only in year 2 can he push further. Then Kobe White would be the next person. Who would you consider? You know what I'm saying? He's been with the Chicago Bulls for a number of years, has improved every single year, in my opinion. Last year, not so much, but this year definitely has improved. Tightening up that handle, tightening up that defense, tightening, being a better role player for the Chicago Bulls. So at what expense and what is available would you attempt to use him as a trade asset? If so, you know what I'm saying? So then you look at DeMar DeRozan. My guys, I believe, is 34 years old. A max contract will give him about 4 or 5 years, right? I think they said that it's projected at $155 million for 4 years. That's a price I'm not willing to pay. That's just my opinion. That's a price I'm not willing to pay. That's just my personal opinion. I like DeMar DeRozan, but I do not want to give a max contract to an agent player because, look, my example would be Chris Paul. I believe that Chris Paul and DeMar DeRozan, they're two very good players. And they are great at what they do. But Chris Paul, after having 2 good, solid years with the Suns, he's now deteriorating and they can't even stay healthy. Now, DeMar DeRozan has been he's definitely been way more durable than the Chris Paul throughout his career. But at the end of the day, is his game sustainable for the future in the progression of the team? It's something we have to consider. You know what I mean? It's something you have to extremely consider. But now there are reports that saying Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are very, very close off the court. Zach LaVine is calling DeMar DeRozan one of his closest friends, his best friend. So with how much input does Zach LaVine have on DeMar DeRozan being in the Bulls uniform? It's the question. That's one of the questions we have to look at. And that's fair. You know what I mean? But again, I'm just a YouTube GM. That's it. Because at the end of the day, I will be trying to get a little bit younger and a little bit more assets to see if there's somebody down the line that you can potentially find, maybe a superstar or another star that is a better fit for the Bulls. But I don't really know what direction the front office wants to go in. No one knows. Do they want to be young? Do they want to be old? What's the identity that they want to have on this team? Because that's still to be determined. We just simply don't know. And then if we're looking at anybody else that's on the trade block with value, could it be Vooch? Could it be Vooch? How much money is he commanding at the end of the season as an agent? He's an agent big, an agent center, but he has the assets to be a valuable center. He can shoot the three. He has a nice inside game. I mean, not the best defensively, but when he locks in, he can do some things. I know a lot of people will point to the amount of blocks that he gets per game, but at the end of the day, you still can't deny the impact. And just right now, I believe the guy's on a 9-game streak of double-doubles after just dropping 41 against the Golden State Warriors. So it's a lot of questions that's still right there. How serious are the Bulls front office about making moves? I just don't know. Will they be aggressive? Will they stand pat and let this season play out just to see what the hell we could do and then potentially make moves at the end of the season? But then if you do that, I believe you kind of handicap yourself a little bit for acquiring the assets or the players that you desire to have to push this team forward. So it's a lot of things that you know what I'm saying, that these guys have to look into when it comes to player personnel, mentality in those players, and the assets that you can recoup for anybody. Because if you can get something back from Vooch, DeMar, I don't think DeMar is going anywhere this year, just to be clear. But Vooch, Kobe White, maybe a P. Will, something like that. If you want to take a next step, that's something you strongly consider, because it's right now. It's just to me, we at the wall. It's a first round exit for me right now. That's the Chicago Bulls for me. A first round exit. There is no way I see them getting to the round 2 this year unless they turn out and play spectacular basketball. Because we can point to their record against the Milwaukee Bucks or the Boston Celtics, who are potential first round matchups, but that means nothing once it comes to the playoff. Coaching matters, mentality matters, and everything else matters. That's when continuity really matters. Will continuity be a factor in that for the Chicago Bulls? That's still to be determined. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of factors that go into winning playoff series other than we beat these guys in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Go ahead and let me know how y'all feeling about all that. How serious do you think the front office is when it comes to making moves? Who is on the trading block for the Chicago Bulls? Because it's reported that the Chicago Bulls are dangling Kobe White, and there might be some interest from Vooch. And then it's a lot of things you have to consider. So let me know how y'all feeling about today's episode in the box below. And before we get out of here, I got to show love to my people at USI. If you're looking for a career change, go ahead and send your resume down to those people at USI at dome@unitedstandard.com. These guys have warehouse positions in CMC milling, lathe operations, and setup. They offer competitive pay, 401k sharing, and other great benefits. Me and C-Dub know some great people over there, so let them know that the Shy Bulls podcast sent y'all, and send your resume over to dome@unitedstandard.com and go ahead and get you a job if you're looking for one. And of course, we got the equipment back up and running, so you can go ahead and send in your voicemails and tune in and be a part of our mailbag episodes. The number is 773-242-9219. And of course, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't did so already. This is another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac.